So as usual, I'm stopping all the updations, and then from the sheet 2. So sheet 2 is my destination, right, in which I have to remove the duplicates. So just going back. So here's my sheet 2. So here, this is my destination where I have to remove the duplicates. And in sheet 1, I have the source. So I'm checking for the values from the sheet 1. If it is also available in sheet 2, I'm removing it from sheet 2, correct? So in sheet 1, I have the values which have to be removed from sheet 2. So I'm making the list count. In the destination here. And then for every single value that is available in the sheet 1, it should be 10, because we're starting from 11 and moving till 20. So for every single value that is available in the range A1 to A10, for every single value that is available from range A1 to A10, it's going to iterate. Where it's going to iterate from 1 till I list count. I list count is going to be 100 here, because in the sheet 2 I have 100 values. In the sheet 2 I have 100 values, right? So it is going to take every single value and go to the sheet 2 and check if the value is there. I'm picking up every single value from my sheet 1 and go to the sheet 2 and check if the value is there. So if the value is there, so I'm checking the value. You see, X is the base value in sheet 1. And in sheet 2, I'm checking the value. See, I'm doing a counter. You remember the cells, row number and column number. The row number is going to be constant. I mean, the column number is going to be constant, right? The first column. But the row number is going to differ. How is it going to differ in the for loop? How many values? It will start from 1 and it will go until 100. Because I have 100 values. So it will pick up every value for X. So I'm getting every value, X dot value. It's a range. So I'm getting the cell's value. And I'm checking if it is there in the sheet 2. And I'm checking if it's there in the sheet 2. If it is so, then I'm deleting it with shift up. You know what is this delete option? I'm going to show it to you. So if you do control and minus together, it will raise this dialog. And do you see shift cell up? Let's do it on 19 so that you will see 20 coming up. So control and minus, shift cells up. Okay. So that is what I'm doing here in sheet 2 though. So what does that mean? I'm saying that if the value that is available in sheet 1 is available in sheet 2 also, so in sheet 2, delete with shift up. The rest of the values will come up. Alright. It's going to check for all the value. I'm incrementing the counter. So you check all the value. Why I'm incrementing the counter here? Because if it is available, then I will have to do only one less time, right? One less time. So I'm incrementing the counter. So it will execute the code and it will come out. Now, after I finish the checking for every single value, so how many times do you think this code will get executed? 10 into 100. That's right. It's going to get executed 1,000 times. This if condition will get executed 1,000 number of times. 10 values in sheet 1. For every one of the 10 value, 100 times in sheet 2. So the maximum number of times this condition will be checked. If there are no values which are available as duplicate values, would be 1,000. Alright. Now let's execute the code. So I've given a message box there. So it's saying done. Let's go and check it. So in the sheet 2, control home. You see after 10, it starts from 21. Because 11 to 20 is available in sheet 1 already. Okay, now is the time to introduce events. See, maybe you want code to automatically get triggered. automatically get triggered. Let's say when a workbook is opened or when a sheet is opened, something like that. So how do you do it? I'm going to open a new file. Now whenever this sheet 1 gets activated, you want something to happen. Let's say copy from somewhere and paste it here, or let's keep it very simple now. Just to understand the event, you want a message box. So how do you do it? As usual, you will have to go to the VBA, and then if you want it for the sheet 1, do you see the objects here? Go in for sheet 1. So after you go here, you'll be able to see the general and the declarations here. Instead of the general, please select the worksheet. Now it will generate an event. If you are from the development background, you will know what an event is. If not, then an event will be triggered based on the action from the user. It's a reaction to the action of the user. So the default event is the selection change. So when the user changes the selection, that is the default event. So if you want more event, you can just drop down here. So I'm saying when the sheet is activated. I'm just going to say the message box. Sheet 1. Alright. On the selection change, you can also check whether it's that particular source or whatever. Okay. So quick message box. Let's see how this event gets triggered here. So I'm in sheet 1 now. I've written the code for sheet. I'm in sheet 2. I've written the code for sheet 1. Now this is for the activate. You remember I wrote sheet 1. Now I want to change the selection here. It says look now. Every time I make a selection change here, it will trigger the event. You're able to see it. So if you want something to happen when user enters the value, then you might have to work with events rather than working with normal function. So till now we have been seeing functions which you might trigger by a button click, or you might want to go and execute it by yourself, or you can associate it with the shortcut key. But instead, if you want it to be a reaction for the user, then you can use events. Alright. So this is about events. And one more thing that you can do in Excel VBA is you can use forms. You can use forms. So how do you create this form? You go to the Excel object, right click and say insert. You can see three things. So module, we have seen class, we're not going to cover this currently. So we're going to use a user form. Now this is the user's form. In this, you can have buttons. So these are all the controls that are available. I'm going to add a drop-down list. Okay. I'm going to put a label here. I'm going to add another label. And a text box. So these are different controls of the form. So I added a label and a text box. And a nice command button. And if you know VB, then it's very simple. For people who do not know VB, you can edit the properties of this form. So how do you do it? You can right click and say go to the properties. And here's the property window. Or you can just, the shortcut key is F4. You can use the same. It will go to the properties. Now the back color of the form. So you can change it to the back color of the form or whatever you want. And for every single control there is, you can use the property. And I'm just closing the toolbar. It is the name of the combo box, and these are the different properties of the combo box. when you see the values, you can add the values here. You can also write the values based on the, if you want the drop down or whatever, you can just add the values. So when you click or when you key in something, you want it to, or when you click the button, something has to happen, then you can double click the button. So it will show the button click event. We saw the event for the sheet, right? So in the form, you have the button's default event, which is the click event. Inside that, maybe you can, what can we do? So the text box name was text box 1. It has a property called text. So I can say the text box 1 text is equal to combo box 1 dot text. So whatever you've selected in the combo box is going to be the text box text. Now if you want to execute this form, one way is you come here and you hit execute. The form gets executed. So I just key in some value and I hit command button. You see, the value gets copied. On the command button, you want to add the text box value to the combo box, very well you can. So you say the combo box 1 dot add item text box 1 text. So every time you key in something in the text box, hello, and I press the button, now you see it's added. Now I say welcome and then key the button. Now you see hello and welcome. Simple. Okay. It sounds very meaningless. Why should I have a form, and why should I have these controls, and what use it is to me as an Excel user? The use that maybe you are having an sheet where you want user to enter data like this. See, entering data in Excel sometimes becomes very cumbersome because of the scrolling and the formatting and stuff like that. And it may be also a troubling process if the user do not enter the proper values. Even though you can use form validation, it might not be very helpful for you. In situations like that, you can use forms to solve problems like these. I've done a very small example to show you the use of form in an Excel. So it's going to combine two different things. The first thing that I have done is the event. So what is the event, and what have I done using the event? Whenever the sheet 2 gets activated, I am showing this form. I am showing this form. And the values can be entered only using the form. You see, I'm not able to click on the sheet 2. I'm trying to click on the sheet 2. I'm not able to click on the sheet 2. So how can I do this? How can I do this? And if you see, I'm going to enter the employee ID, E002, and then the name of the employee is BBB. And I hit submit. You see it gets added to the sheet. Now let's try one more value. 3. There you go. It gets added to the last row. I have protected the sheet with the function, so nobody will be able to edit. I'm trying to edit. Look at that. It's saying the sheet is protected. Until and unless I know the password, I cannot edit it. Now, what kind of code have I written for this? So the first thing I have written is, in the sheet 2, I have protected it with the password already. So I am unprotecting it. You remember the sheet 2 activate event? I am unprotecting the sheet with the password of 1234. So I am giving it a password of 1234. And I'm calling the user form 1 show. So what will happen? It will show the form. It will show the form. And after the form is shown, after the form work is over, again I'm protecting the sheet with the password, the same password 1234. That's it. So what have I done? Only when I'm showing the form, it will have the sheet will have been protected. Once the form is closed, again the sheet will be protected. So much for the sheet events. What have I done in the form? In the form, I've added 2 text boxes, 2 labels, and 2 buttons. In the reset button, I've emptied my text boxes. In the submit button, actually you don't require this. Okay. So in the submit button, what have I done? I've gone to the A1. You remember the offset we did yesterday? I hope you remember the offset we did yesterday. Okay. So I'm saying go to A1 and select till the very end of A1. You should go to the last row. So after I reach the last row, I'm asking it to move one more row. The offset takes 2 parameters, the row and the column. So I'm asking it to go move one row below. So to go till the current data down, and it's going to do one offset, one row below, and no column, and I'm selecting it. And in the active cell, I'm putting whatever value is there in the text box 1. So first I'm activating one cell. Which cell I'm activating? The row below the last row which contains data in the first column. I'm going to that particular cell. In that cell, I'm putting some value. What value? The value that is there in the text box 1. The value that is there in the text box 1. And I'm doing the same again. But now if you see, I'm going to the last, but I'm not going to the next row wherein I'm going to the next column. Because already the row will contain the data. The last row will contain the data. So I'm moving to the next column, which should be the last row's column, second column. In that column, I'm putting the text box 2's data. After I've entered the data, I'm clearing the text boxes. That's it. Simple code. Maybe if you have multiple values, you can ask data from the user. And on the button click event, this happens. Let's do it once more. So I will not be able to edit anything here. So when I reach here, so here it is. And you can do all your validations here. So maybe your name, checking out the range, whether the user is inputting in the correct format, whether it is a date, everything. So whatever you want as a checking, you can do it very well here. And maybe if you want to do further updations, that's a possibility. You can also do the further updations. It's a simple use of a form and how to perform based on an event. Okay, in case the user closes and wants to associate it with an, button. So, and you can also do the same using a button. So you can also add a button and show the form also in the button. That is also another option. So on the button click, you can say you're wanting a new code, and you can say user form 1 dot show. So you can also do that. So instead of associating it with a event, you can also do it using the button. That's also another possibility. And still you can, if you don't want to unprotect the thing, you can remove the unprotection and just use the, the normal one. When you protect the sheet, you can choose whether you want to use it to edit the objects and stuff, which will allow you to do it. So let me give a password here. Say okay. So still you will be able to click the button and do the form. So it's password protected. So if you want to enter values, you can only use the button. So this is the final example I want to share for the day. You have data in Excel which you might want to export to PowerPoint. This all of us do very frequently, the data or the chart or whatever you have. You want to export it to PowerPoint. You can do it very easily. I'm going to make it as a table here. So I made it as a table. Now I want to take this data and I want to keep a button when I say export to PowerPoint. It has to move to a PowerPoint and save it as a presentation. I've done just for the data, and I hope you also remember how to do the pivot table. Select the pivot table now and create a chart and select the chart now and all these things. So it can be any object. I'm going to use the table here. You can use chart, the pivot table and everything, and you can keep adding slides and you can put the data and you can use one, you write the code once and you can just click the button and the code will get executed, so your data is transferred to PowerPoint. You need not do all the copy paste work, which is generally done by everyone. So here's the code for the same. Let me go over the. So for this again, you have to do a reference. How do you do the reference? You have to go to tools, go to reference, and you will have to do a PowerPoint object library. So the same way, move on, check it. So go to the reference. Okay, so here it is. So select it and say okay. So you will get the reference, and after that, what I'm doing, I'm declaring a variable for the PowerPoint application. I'm declaring a variable for the PowerPoint slide, and a string for the sheet name, a string for the paste, and a few other things for the range. Actually, you don't require the other strings for the range here. Okay. So, and then I'm getting the active sheet name in the sheet name. So whichever the current sheet you're working in, that sheet will get stored in the sheet name. Sheet name is a string, if you will remember. And using a constant range, you can get the range from the user or you can get the selection. Okay. So next step is, first we'll have to start the PowerPoint application. So I'm saying if PPP AP, which is the PowerPoint application, it's nothing, which is generally going to be. I'm starting a new PowerPoint application. If there is no PowerPoint which is started, I'm starting a new PowerPoint application. Let me close it so that you will be able to get the idea. So I'm closing it, so it's going to start a new PowerPoint application. If it is already there, then it will move to the next line. If it's already there, it will move to the next line. In that PowerPoint application, how many presentations? If it is 0, then I'm going to add to the presentation. I'm going to add 1 to the presentation. And I'm making the application visible. So what will happen, if the PowerPoint is not open, it will open the PowerPoint, it's going to add a new presentation, and it's going to make the presentation as a visible presentation. And if you remember, PPP slide is a slide, PowerPoint slide. So that slide, I'm adding 1 there in the active presentation. Which one of the active presentation currently? The presentation that we just added. The presentation that we just added will be the active presentation. In that, I'm adding 1 slide. With what layout? I'm adding the PPT blank layout. You can choose your own layout. So if you want the content and the text layout, you can. See, these are all the different layouts of PowerPoint. Okay. So you can choose the kind of layout you want, and I've selected the blank layout. And now the current active worksheet is sheet 1, in that I'm asking for the range and I'm asking it to be copied. I'm asking it to be copied. And with the PowerPoint slide, with the PPT slide shapes, I'm asking it to paste special. And I'm going to paste it as a picture. I'm going to paste my table as a picture. And I'm giving the alignments and the scale. And I'm giving the scale. And after I pasted it, what I'm doing, I'm calling the active presentation. and I'm saving it in S colon with the name test.ppt. You can choose the location to save the presentation, and I'm closing the presentation. That's it. And I'm saying the PPT slide is nothing, and I'm quitting the PowerPoint. I repeat. So I'm checking if there is a PowerPoint open. If not, I'm opening application. I'm adding one to the presentation. I'm making the presentation visible. In the visible presentation, I'm adding one slide with a blank layout. I'm copying what was there in sheet 1 in this page, and I'm pasting it as a picture with the alignments, and then saving the file and closing the file, the PowerPoint, and I'm closing also the slide. I'm closing the PowerPoint application. Let's see. This is the active sheet, this is the active sheet, and this is the active range. Now I'm going to hit execute. If you see for a second, PowerPoint will open and the slide will be visible, and then I've also said quit, so it's closing it. Let's go to S colon directly. So here your test.ppt, and it is pasted this picture. See? Very simple but very effective. So you can select your chart objects, your pivot tables, anything you want, and then you just copy and paste this picture in the PowerPoint. It's very simple. Thank you so much.